Hi guys, and welcome to my review of the AFUL Performer 5. Before I start, let me just say thank you to Hi-Fi Go for uh, making this happen. It's a privilege to be the first to actually review this IEM. Well, as far as I'm concerned, or as far as I know, I am going to be the first. So let me thank them for making this happen. Also, they will be, as far as I know, the exclusive distributors for AFUL. And yeah, this is the first product of a few that I believe will make part of Hi-Fi Go's AFUL, let's say, makeup. This is a 1+4 hybrid. But before I get into the actual unboxing and showing you the IEM and talking about it and sharing my opinions of it, I just wanted to maybe just give you a little background about AFUL. They are a relatively young company. They've been around for, they've been around for about 4 years. And for a period of 2 years, they actually were heavily involved into R&D and developing certain technologies which are now their basis for their products. They've got this very novel way of doing the 3D printing for the shells and the actual acoustic structure of the tubes inside of the shells, and that has also led them to develop this air pressure relief technology, which is also quite unique to them, and also come up with an RLC network, crossover network system to better integrate all the drivers. The hybrid IEM scene has of late become extremely competitive on the one hand, and it's also become the preferred way to obtain or achieving the performance that not only the companies want to obtain, but also the customers demand. And the truth is, the level of performance that we have now reached with this, let's say, hybrid array of earphones priced at this amount, which is around up to about $400, is pretty amazing. It's really reminiscent, and they really have a lot of the characteristics of the high-end IEMs. Their ability to really provide a top quality sound performance with ultra low distortion, and everything being properly matched and phase corrected and everything. It's actually quite amazing, and AFUL has been able to master all of these different characteristics very capably. As I said earlier, their 3D printing technology that they use for the cavity and for the structure is top notch. I mean, they've really done their homework, and what they've basically tried to do by 3D printing is to guarantee, first of all, perfect or as perfect as possible phase matching, and as such, well, this is basically what you see in home speakers as well. You want to phase match all the drivers, and that's why many times you see more the high-end speakers, you have speakers placed at different lengths in the front baffle, at different positions on the front baffle, and all of this is to just match phases. And that's what exactly AFUL has been able to achieve with this printing technology of the tube structure for the shell. They've got, for example, a 60mm long tube for the base, a 30 millimeter long tube for the mids, and all of this has been or could only be possible obviously if you had a properly designed and developed 3D printing system. To do it in the more conventional system that it's usually done, it will be almost impossible. But all of this basically then just guarantees flawless phase matching. And also excuse me, by doing this they also have been able to make sure that any of the problems that we sometimes have with pressure build-up and so on and so forth is almost totally eliminated, and we don't have this build-up, which can sometimes be very uncomfortable, and actually take away from the whole experience of sound. And finally, as I mentioned, instead of the usual capacitor and resistor system that is used for the networks, they've actually designed an RLC system, and this again further enhances the marriage and the coherency of all the drivers being matched perfectly, and thus trying to obtain the best possible performance. Anyway, basically I've given you a little bit of a breakdown about AFUL as a company and what their R&D has been doing for the last couple of years, before actually finally, let's say, presenting us with this. They've been around in the local Chinese market already for a little bit, but internationally this is going to be their first product, let's put it that way. Anyway, box, very I would say expected for the price range that we are talking about. Price range, I still do not know exactly what the price or what the final price will be, but after listening to it and comparing it with what is available, I think that a price under the $300 would be the ideal. Not that it's not worth more than $300. Yes, I do believe that it's worth more than $300. I just feel that under the $300 mark, point, it would enable AFUL to be truly competitive and do away with a little bit that mentality that we sometimes have of, oh no, I'm gonna go for this brand because I know this brand, and this brand is new and I'm not sure if it's good or if it's bad or something. Situations, for example, happened with or has happened to a certain extent with a brand called AFUL Audio. It's a very new brand, and their products are highly competitive in terms of the price, but there's still some kind of tendency of people wanting to hold back because they feel that maybe, for that same price I can get this IEM from this popular brand and it's going to be better, and it's not. Anyway, I'll be talking a little bit in more detail just now, and the AFUL is in this comparison, and you'll see exactly what I mean. Anyway, back to the package. This is the box. Opens up in this like kind of book manner, or I don't know how you call this. Inside the IEMs came over there. It brings one of those pack style carrying cases, and underneath some some usual guarantees and real information, and tips, a selection of tips. Tips are decent enough. I like this detail of the red and blue, to differentiate between left and right channel. Actually, that was a cool little detail. And I did listen to the AFULs with their tips, and then swapped over to the tips that, in my opinion, worked better for me and matched the driver or the IEM itself best. This is the actual tip that I was using originally, the stock ones, okay? And the performance with them was pretty good. I just found that the tips that I'm using, which are KB ears, are just superior. The stock cable, also very nice cable, as you can see. See if I can just focus this a little bit better so you guys can see. Not being easy. This is an 8-core cable. Oh, come on. Let's focus here, please. There we go. No. Maybe there we go. That's better. Okay, so as you can see, it's a nice 8-core cable. This is giving me some grief today. There we go. Okay, nice 8-core cable. 3.5mm termination. 2-pin connector. Doesn't tangle. Nothing. There we go. But because I wanted to get the maximum performance out of the Performer 5, I went with an XI NHS 4.4. There we go. I went with this cable from XI NHS, and here's the AFULs. I mean, very, very nice in terms of their quality, of their build quality. It's got a kind of the audio vibe to it, I guess you could say. But you know, that aside, they just look very, very premium, very premium. Nice resin shell, as I mentioned. Very long nozzle, as you can actually see. And it's a product of what I just mentioned, of the fact that they have done this phase matching by making sure that the lengths of the tubes are matched properly to obtain the maximum and extract the maximum performance. Okay, they're very light, nothing too heavy. 1+4, as I mentioned, so it's a 4BA with 1DD. As far as I know, the DD is an 8mm DD, and the BAs I'm not gonna say, because I just simply do not know. What else can I say about them? Isolation, perfect. You know, be it with these tips, the KB ears, or be it with the stock tips, I found absolutely nothing wrong with the fit, with the isolation that they provided. They fit very snugly inside my ear. Really, I mean, top notch. On to, well, what we want to know, and what we want to know is, well, across how do they sound? How are they? And well, for me to give you a better of idea of what they sounded like, I thought it would make sense to bring out what I consider to be the top selection of hybrids up to the $400 price point. Okay, starting off. Actually, just before I start, I did all my listening as usual. Well, some of you guys know, but just to say it, did my listening with the NX7 coupled with the UA3 for the 4493 DAC, coupled with the AP98 with the CS43 198 DAC over there. There we go, 43198. This is the AP98 from J. Kelly. I also used the iBasso DC06 on here, and I also did a lot of listening actually with the Q-Style M15, and I did some listening as well with the DX3. So I subjected these IEMs, all of them, to a lot of sources to better see what would match, you know, better or worse or whatever. My two top choices are the M15, the Q-Style, which shouldn't really be a surprise. I mean, this thing is an absolute beast, period. And I liked as well very, very much the 4493 with this you know, in the Frankenstein combo, like I call it, be it the 4393 in the UA3, or be it in the AP90, which is the other one that I have using the same. It really matches very well with the NX7 and gives me the perfect sound. Those two are my top choices. Back to the IEMs. What do I have? Blessing 2, the original Blessing 2, not the Dusk. High Senior Mega 5P, probably one of the best hybrids in the market right now. Okay, let me just say that out of the way straight away. Manga T2, its reputation and its fame, I think, precedes it the same, much like the case of the Blessing. Yan Cannon, one of my favorite as well in this price bracket, an absolute beast of an IM with this capability of the switches, giving us the versatility of adjusting the sound, and it does really adjust and change the sound. The Yan the Cannon is an absolute animal of an IM. One of my other favorite IMs in this price bracket, the AFUL Audio AFUL, fantastic IM. Honestly, this, it's like I said, the only problem that AFUL has been having up to now is the fact that it's an unknown brand, and as an unknown brand, people obviously are gonna hold back and think, well, you know, for $370, which is roughly the price of this, oh, for that price I can buy a Manga T2, and I know for sure the Manga T2 is gonna be better. Well, you're wrong. Let me just say it like that. You're wrong. This is amazing. And then finally, obviously, our contender of the day, the AFUL Performer 5. How am I going to break this down? I'm going to talk a little bit about each one of these IMs and compare it then straight away with the AFUL. The Blessing 2, we know what it's about. It's about, you know, providing a more of a neutral kind of a signature, with, you know, perfectly executed mids, very detailed. Nothing is aggressive, nothing is forward, nothing is out of what it should be. It is everything is being done in a way that it wants to bring you or provide you with the most correct sound. Is that the case? Yes and no. You know, when it came out, it was light years ahead of what was available at the time, and was able to compete with IMs which were way more expensive. And still today, obviously, you listen to it and you do straight away feel that you are listening to something which is high end, in the sense of it's a properly designed product. It's not something that was just slapped together. But in this group, it shows its age, and you can see that it falls behind. Perhaps the Dusk would have been a better one to have here, but unfortunately, well, first of all, I don't have the Dusk, and I think for this purpose, really, the Dusk compared to the original Blessing 2 is just the fact that it has a little bit more bass. That is the biggest difference. So look, I'm sure this will give a good idea for what I'm trying to put forward to you guys. As compared to the AFUL, how do I see them? I see the AFUL as a better product. Very simple. It's got equally the same kind. Well, let me start by saying that the AFUL has got more of a W style of a signature. So the High Senior, the Mangard, and the AFUL Audio AFUL, they all have a very kind of similar signature. And when I show you the graphs in a couple of minutes, you'll understand what I'm saying, okay? The two that stand out by having a slightly different W, you know, signature from this W of these four is the Blessing, which is more of a kind of a neutralish bright. I'm gonna say it like that, although it's not 100% correct. And the Canon, the Yanyan, which can go from a V monster to a more neutral styled sound, although it is always it always has a prominence in the bass. It's the one that when you listen to all of these straight away, even in the setting which is the one I'm having right now, which is off on off in the 3 switches, it's the one that immediately jumps out as having the most bass. And well, those that are more, let's say, or want to be more audiophile correct will straight away say, oh, but then, you know, it's colored and it's not as good and it's not as correct and this and this and that. Well, yes, you could say that, but it's very well done. I mean, if it's colored it's got some good coloring. Let's put it that way, because it deserves its place. Yeah, it deserves it. It's well earned. It's a fantastic IM. So back to what I was saying about the blessing and the AFUL signature. Straight away, the first thing that you notice is the bass that it has is perfect. It's well extended. It's got sub bass. It's deep. It rumbles. The mid bass is defined. It's dynamic. It's got good impact. It's so straight away in the bass department, it overshadows completely, in my opinion, the blessing completely. Compared to the dusk, I can't say if it would be the same thing, but I don't think that the dusk will have a better bass, honestly, than the AFUL. I don't. I really, genuinely don't think it will. Mids. The mids on the AFUL are, in my opinion, flawless. Flawless. They are lush. They are. Everything from male to female vocals is perfectly executed. It's never shouty. It's an IM, much like the AUR audio. And these two, how can I say this? If the Mega 5P and the T2 are very similar, okay, the AFUL Performer 5 and the AUR audio, AUR are the two that are going to be as well, the very similar. And a lot of what I've just been saying about the AFUL applies as well to the AUR audio. AUR, I'm just going to call it AUR from now on because it's just easier. So both of these have got this amazing bass. It's really good, and particularly when you consider it's an 8mm driver, that's what surprises you even the most. The mids as well, beautiful, and the mids here compared to the mids on the Blessing 2, to finish up the Blessing 2 once and for all, they just have this more engaging and this more trueness to them that it's just it's very, very difficult to actually how can I say, explain without you physically taking the IMs, putting them in your ears and listening to them. The mids of the Blessing 2 are amazing. But where they lack to these two is that they are too clinical at times, too analytical, and that is mainly because of the fact that it's a little bit thin in the bass, and so it doesn't have that extra weight of the bass just complementing things beautifully like the AFUL does it and the AUR does it. The mids here have got this lushness about them that it just makes them more genuine, more organic, more true, and for that reason, straight away, the Blessing, however good it is, and I know I'm gonna get probably hammered in the comments by saying this, the AFUL is a superior IM to the Blessing 2. I'm sorry to say this in this manner, and to all of those which are diehard Blessing fans. Yes, you have an amazing IM here, but it's no longer capable of keeping up with the likes of the AFUL Performer 5 or the AUR. It's as simple as that. Okay, so that's the Blessing out of the way. Compared to the Mega 5P, the Mega 5P, as I mentioned, is sharing a lot of its performance, a lot of similarities with the T2. So what is the characteristics of the Mega 5P? Mids are open, detailed, very well balanced with both the bass and the treble. Everything feels again very organic, very true, very realistic, non-fatiguing. Things like soundstage on be it on the Mega 5P or on the T, it's wide, it's tall, they are very capable of giving this 3D imaging to things, very always very enveloping in the way that they come across. Of the two, the T2 has slightly more treble, very slightly more treble compared to the Mega 5P, but that's a 1+6, this is a 1+4, so I guess that would be the reason for that. But for example, then in terms of the sub bass and the bass and how it's got just that right amount of impact and body, I give it to the Mega 5P over the T2. The Mega 5P also has another thing going for it, which is a price, which is $239, which is crazy. The T2 is a little bit more expensive. It's, well, now during these 11/11 sales the price is down, but this usually settles itself at around the $320 mark, so it's about $100 more, and there isn't $100 more in performance between these two. How do they then compare to the Performer 5? Well, the Performer 5 is these two, but a little bit more polished up. Like I mentioned, the mids are just that little extra more detailed, and you take songs like, for example, I Like Chopin, and the cymbals and the timbre of her voice, and it's not that the Mega 5P or the T2 don't do it well. They do it flawlessly, but the Performer 5 has just got that little extra that is noticeable. If you have good ears and you listen, it's not things, look, these are not things that you're going to pick up in a metro when you're commuting to work. No, these are things that you pick up when you're sitting at home, relaxing and enjoying music properly, and there's not much noise around you. Okay, so these are things that, please, under normal circumstances, I think that it will be very hard to actually distinguish these IMs in a significant manner. Okay, that's the truth. So the differences that exist here are differences that are going to show themselves and you're going to pick up on them under ideal conditioning. Under, like I just said, you're at home, sitting down, relaxing. There's no noise, and you really are focused on what you're listening. So, going back to what I was saying, this just it's a more polished product. Okay, it's a more polished product, and if they are able to actually get this at the under $300 price bracket, well, first of all, it will, in my opinion, do away with the T2. The T2 will no longer have anything, in my opinion, to justify it, because if the T2, like I mentioned just a little bit earlier, has got just a tad little more treble than compared to the Mega 5P, it doesn't compare to the Perform 5. The amount of detail that this is capable of giving is unreal. It truly, there were criticisms about if the technical abilities of the T2 were on par with its price, and to a certain extent I agree with that, because for the price you expect a little bit more. It's not technically capable, it is, but you expect a bit more. In this case, it's again, and I'm hoping that the price is not going to be anything crazy, but if the price is below $300, my friends, all I can say is this is going to be a winner, period. And I really and truly hope that they will be able to keep the price below the $300, because this will be a winner. That's it. It's as simple as that. Okay, the performance that this IM is has offered me has truly blessed. Truly blown me away. I mean, I've heard many IMs of this past year. We're almost done with 2022, and some IAMs have truly surprised me, and like, wow, I wasn't expecting this. IAMs like the P1 Max from 10i-Fi. When I listened to it straight away, I knew I was listening to something that was genuinely special. And it is a fantastic IAM. And those of you that do have it and have been able to tap into its magic, you will agree with me. It is a fantastic IAM. Another IAM that blew me away when I listened to it was the Mega 5P. I was like, I cannot believe this is costing what it's costing. I got it at the time where the price was $199. Actually, I paid $189 for it. Sorry, and I was like, no way. $189. Just to put things into context, we're talking about the price of the T Audio, the L4 when it came out, the Legacy 4. This absolutely, and excuse me for the way I'm going to say this, but this absolutely rapes the Legacy 4. It rapes the Legacy 5, which is even more expensive. It just annihilates it. This, in my opinion, again, I'm going to get comments in the... This is a better IM than the T2. It does everything that the T2 does at $100 less. Period. The minor times, the very minute and minor times that the T2 is actually able to shine and show its very minor superiority over the Mega 5P are so few and far that no, this is a better IM. This is a better IM. And the AFUL is better than the two of them. It's simple. I mean, I don't want to sound like I'm hyping it or shilling it or anything of the sort. No, I'm just saying what I heard. This is amazing. Amazing. It's all down to what the price will be now that will dictate its success. The price that is established for this will be the make or break for this IM. Compared to the Yanyan, and compared to the Yanyan, this is not going to be a fair comparison because their premise is totally different. This is supposed to be neutral. This is supposed to be focusing on wanting to be more correct sounding. That is supposed to be fun. It's supposed to like hit you hard and do it in a way that you say, wow, this is, it's kind of going back to another story which involved the Softiers RSV and the Neon Pro, or the Neon, the AFUL Audio Neon, or the AFUL Audio Neon Pro. The comparison between those IMs was never very fair because the RSV was supposed to be relaxed, chilled, listen to it for hours on end, non-fatiguing. The Neon, especially the Neon, the original Neon, before they introduced the switch, it's got big cojones, let's put it that way. It's a big, bold sound. It hits you hard, but it does it well. It doesn't do it well. It does it very well. And the Neon Pro, by taming down the bass like they did, took that to another level. And honestly, until you actually listen to the Neon Pro, you will not be able to truly understand what I convey when I say it is one of the best full BA sets around at under $1,000. Unquestionably, there is not a, in my opinion, with what I listen to, it is one of the best IEMs that you can buy under $1,000 full BA. And that's the same situation that happens here when you listen to this and you listen to the Yanyan Canon. It's not a fair comparison because they do what they were supposed to do very well. Putting that in the setting of it being more neutral like it is now compared to the AFUL wins because that's what it was made to do, okay? But the AFUL cannot be made to sound like that in terms of, giving you some serious bass and some serious upper mids and highs and really like knocking your head into next week. It's not going to do that. So it's not fair for me to say that one is, these are side grades to each other rather than one being better than the other. Finally, AFUL Audio AFUL. And as I said earlier on, these two are very, very, very similar. the graph when I show you as well, you will see what I mean. It's actually quite interesting how close they are. What is the difference and what is the thing that distinguishes the two of them? The treble. The amount of treble and air that the AFUL has is just enough to edge out the AUR with certain songs. Does that mean that it's then a better IM than the AUR? No, it doesn't mean that it's a better IM than the AUR, because the AUR is it's an incredible IM. Its highs are perfect. They've got enough detail, enough everything in terms of the high frequency, upper mids and high frequencies of the AUR is done flawlessly. I mean, you listen to a song like Innocence from Al Marconi, and I actually didn't know the song. I actually found the song from a fellow reviewer that actually reviewed the AUR. Wow, like wow! It's the details are just unreal that the AUR can capture. So much so that when you listen to it and you pick up on those details and on its ability to fetch small minor things, that, as my colleague said, and I can collaborate with that, I can confirm that when you listen to an IM which is lesser, on other IMs maybe even more expensive, but when you listen to another IM, the majority of the times you don't pick up on those things. You say, no, hold on, but I heard that on the AUR, why am I not listening to it here? That is not what happens with the Performer 5. The Performer 5, in my opinion, has a detail retrieval capability which is every bit as good as the AUR. It's these two are basically, I would say, brothers, okay, because they do everything so well and so similarly that it's very difficult for me to again say which is the better IM. Obviously this is $370. This we don't know, and the price is what will dictate then which one to choose, in my opinion. Okay, and yeah, that's basically it, guys. I mean, like I said, in terms of the matching of the drivers and how coherently they are married in the Performer 5, it's 5 stars. It's been done beautifully. Imaging, soundstage, timbre, tonality, all of those things are spot on. They are full in terms of soundstage. It's wide, it's deep, it's perfect. There's nothing to say there. Imaging, you can point every instrument, voice, everything, perfect. It does it beautifully, like as well the AUR does it. And I would even say that probably, especially because of the price, that the Mega 5P is the next one in line. Okay, timbre, tonality, beautiful. It everything sounds very real. It's very correct. That's the it's a very mature sounding IM, very correct sounding, and it can, in my opinion, go up against IMs which are way more expensive. Honestly, I will even question how many tribrids, so how many IMs in the $500-600 bracket will be that much superior to the Performer 5 and justify that extra that you will pay for them. I truly question that. I really do. So yeah, capable IM, both technically, music wise. I mean, there's nothing. I'll post the songs that I listen to so you guys know. There was nothing really that I say, no, it let me down. No, everything. It scales beautifully, scales amazingly well. Nothing gets out of whack. Yeah, that's it. We just now have to wait for Hi-Fi Go and AFUL to decide what price will be the one that they will be selling the Performer 5 for, and that then will ultimately be the factor that will determine its success in the market. Once again, compared to these IEMs here, yes, it's better than the Mega 5P and the T2. it is better, and also the blessing. Actually, the blessing is the one that, yeah, is the one that's, let's say, in the last place. It's better than these two. You know, the price is now the factor that will determine how much better. Compared to the Yanyan Canon, it's a side grade, and compared to the AWUR Audio AWUR, it's equal. I mean, honestly, these two trade blows in the, you know, with regards to performance. So I can't really say. It's just a price, guys. I know it's been going on for a long time. I want to finish this up quickly so I don't bore you to death. So yeah, like and subscribe. Any questions you have, please feel free to ask me. I'll do my very best to answer. I'm actually going to find out what are the BAs that are being used here. I want to give that information to you guys. And yeah, I'll just do the graphs now quickly and show you the graphs so you can actually see what it was, all of the story that I was giving you here, what it's all about. All right, you take care. Hi guys, and welcome to the graph section of my review for the AFUL Performer 5. And straight away, this is the graph of the Performer 5. As you can see, everything 83 to everything stays within a window of about 6-7 dBs between 50 and between 50 hertz and about I would say 10k roughly. Everything stays within that window, and the little bit that goes outside of that window of 7-8 dBs is, you know, below 50 hertz here, but it's really sub-bass territory and not really noticeable. But as you can see, the main points which are of interest to us are sub-bass is the focus, you know, glides nicely into the bass, and by 250 hertz it's almost flat. Starts then its pinna gain, which is very, very mild. I mean, we're talking about a pinna gain of 5 dB, so very chilled, very relaxed. I mean, super smooth. Everything then maintains itself nicely plateaued all the way across, and then some extension past 10k as well. Straight away, the first graph I'm going to compare it to is with the Blessing 2. Okay, and although you see that the bass of the Blessing 2 is basically the same, and you would think that, okay, no, it's not as thin sounding, or, you know, it's got the bass which matches the Performer 5. No, when you do listen to the two of them, you do notice that the bass of the Blessing 2 is not as composed, it's not as full, it's not as bodied, let's put it that way. And then again, although you can see that the mids of the Blessing are perfect, I mean, we've got a very smooth pinna gain as well, peaking it close to 3k, and then going down, that's a peak, that's a couple of related peak over there. The mids just sound, it's not that they sound wrong, they just don't sound as tonally as engaging, okay, as the ones of the Performer 5, and that's why I prefer it over the Blessing. Basically, it's the reason why I like more the Performer 5 over the Blessing is due to its full textured, full bodied bass, and the fact that tonally it's more correct sounding, okay, and also it's got a slightly more detail up top in the air section, in the brilliance area, a little bit more sparklies, let's put it that way. I haven't used that word for a while. Okay, that's compared to that. Compared to let me put the High Senior straight away. Compared to the High Senior, this is the High Senior, where you do notice the biggest differences is in this area here. There's more detail, there's more, it's just the graphs are not very different, as you can see, but it's just the polish with which everything is done in the Performer 5 that dictates, or that says why it is slightly superior. But again, as I mentioned in the review, the ultimate dictator, or the decider, let's put it that way, for that superiority will be the price. Okay, if the price is over $300, then I mean, I'm gonna have to give this to the High Senior, because the High Senior is just priced at a crazily ridiculous value. That's the truth. If it's under $300, then definitely the Performer 5 takes it. Definitely takes it. That's that out of the way. Compared to the Manged T2, very similar situation. Everything, in the Manged T2 also sits within this very tight window of 5-6 dB, so very smooth. But it's actually quite interesting how way more engaging and fun it can be. Just as a quick comparison, this is the T2 compared with the High Senior, and I mean, you would almost say that these are the same pair of earphones, just the slight slight difference in channel balance. That's how incredibly similar they are. And the funny thing is, although one is a OnePlus 6 and the other one is a OnePlus 4, and yes, you do notice that there is just a little bit more polish in the treble on the side of the T2. The Mega 5P sounds, the problem here is not really the T2. The problem here is that the Mega 5P is very good. That's the reality, Okay, back here with the Performer 5. Take this out so you guys can compare it here with the Mega T2. That's out. Now compared with the Yanyan Canon, and again, although you see this isn't the most neutral setting. Actually, let me just change the color of this here slightly. So, well, I'll actually change the color of the AFUL so that we can see a bigger contrast. Let's make it red. Okay, and well, can't really see anything decent. Let me change the color of this one as well. Sorry, guys. Let's make this a nice blue. There, that one. That should be a nice one. There we go. Although you see that the similarities again are very it's very similar. The truth is, the bass of the Canon always sounds way more significant, or way more full than what the graph would lead us to believe. That's why I said in the review as well that the Yanyan and the Blessing 2 are the ones that actually have a more different tuning as opposed to the W style tuning of the other four. Okay, and then finally, compared to the AUR Audio AUR, and this is where you're actually going to see again a very big similarity in its graph up to about 7-8K. They are almost identical. Let me just change the color here of the AUR. Make the AUR. Let's make it green. There we go. Okay, as you can see, bass is I would say that up to about let's say up to about 5K, it's basically the same IEM. Okay, it's basically the same IEM, and then things change after that. The Performer 5 has a little bit more presence and brilliance. The upper treble is a little bit more. It's just a little bit more energetic, but it's not in a way that is as significant as what the graph would lead us to believe. Okay, it's not as noticeable as what the graph would lead us to believe. Yes, you do see that there's a little bit more detail, a little bit more air, a little bit more spaciousness, but the difference is not as big, and it's also another reason why I say that these two, it's not really one being superior than the other, but more of, again, they being equal. Okay, these two are very equal. The Yanyan, the Canon, will be very much a side grade. Okay, although graphically, as you can see, they look again very similar. If I put in now the Manged, again, you will see things continue to be very, very similar. Actually, the Manged with let me just take away these two. If you actually see the Manged with the Canon in its neutral settings, it's just that extra energy that you find there. That's a differentiating factor, because in terms of the bass, they look the same. But the truth is this: I mean, if I just put them all on, you do not see this huge difference that maybe you would be expecting. Sorry for getting this one. So that's all of them there. Yes, there is a difference here of around 3 dBs below, let's say 50 hertz between one group and another group of them. So the ones that would be the most bass heavy or more sub bass heavy would be the performer and the AUR, okay, while the other 4 remain in the lower group, as you can see here. Across the majority of the mid bass, the lower mids, everything is very similar. Everything stays as well very similar across here. There's not really big differences. It's then past that you do find some differences graphically wise. But anyway, look, this is all graphs. All of these IEMs are absolutely fantastic. That's the truth. You know, it would be wrong and incorrect. It wouldn't be professional of me to say that these IEMs are bad or anything of the sort, and that this one, because it's not the latest, is the greatest, and it's what. No, all of these IEMs are good. Obviously, I gave you my impressions of what I, how I perceive them, and out of this whole group, the one that, yes, is the lesser performing one is the blessing too. But that's for me, for my ears, for what I listen to, with my music. Maybe with your music you won't see that, or you won't agree with that opinion of mine. So yeah, that's why I know that I will be probably getting some comments, but I'm fine with that. I can handle what people have to say. This is one of those hobbies where subjectiveness is a very big part of it, so it's normal. Also, what more can I say? Yeah, that's basically it, guys. I mean, there's really not much more that I can add to this. It's been a very long review, as you can see. So I'm just going to let you go. Please like and subscribe. Any questions, feel free to ask. My apologies straight away for sometimes delaying in replying. It's not intentional in any way. And hey, just keep safe, take care, keep safe, smile, be happy, and be good people. Take care. Bye-bye.